has a program which is, they call an encroachment program. And if, what they do is they take, if we're putting in a water main, and if we're gonna dig 5 feet deep, they take the bottom of that 5-foot trench and they go out at a 45-degree angle. If their pipe lays within that angle, and it's a certain size and a certain age, it must be replaced by order or law of the DTE, which governs the gas now. So I believe that we will see the gas company follow not too far behind us on Brook Road, as they did in the first section.
Can't they just do it
Together.
as the, you finish the excavation? I mean, you have to, you're not going to close and patch and then reopen, are you? Or is that what's going
Yes.
to happen again?
And then they will be required to close and patch and restore it to original or better condition.
And they can't coordinate so that they can do it at the same time? It would
Well-
save them so much work, wouldn't it? Or save some work.
The discussions that I had with them today, actually, they were informal discussions, but they like to go up before the construction. And they're just so busy with their workload that they can't get out to do it before, they couldn't get out to do this before us. Our project on Canton Avenue, the sewer project, they actually did the gas first. And the reason that they do that is they put plastic in, and plastic isn't as apt to break or be pulled or fall into a trench as old cast iron pipe. So it's actually a little bit safer. It's pretty clear where it is because the patch is fresh, and it's surrounded with sand, and it can be located with the the locating devices that they use now. So they do like to get out before us, but again, the Department of Telecommunications and Energy, they dictate to them what they must do.
Branch has been talking to them on the Brook Road project.
Now, this is item 2.7. Why don't we, since we're naturally segueing right into that, why don't we address that now? This is the,
But can I just finish this?
yeah, I'm sorry.
So they're telling you they can't schedule it to do it ahead because we're starting the work now. But they can't schedule it also to do it as we have the excavation open, which will be 2 months from now?
It's a different excavation. It could be 10 feet away,
A different trench.
because you take that 5-foot deep hole and go out at an angle, that could go 10 feet or 12 feet or whatever. It could be right next to it. And they're also different depths. You have different contractors. It's really not practical.
So even though you expect to have this finished in September, the gas company is going to have to come in and do some more digging after that.
If in
But
fact,
might as well, I just want everybody to understand.
well, that's what I'm trying to explain. If in fact it does fall within that angle, it is the appropriate size, I imagine that we could do some investigation and find out if really it is, if that is the fact.
Actually, if it's a 45-degree
that
angle,
angle, that pipe
it's
could
gonna
be
be
way
one-to-one
over there.
slope, so if it's down 6 feet, it's out 6 feet.
But again, it has to be of a certain size and a certain age too, so,
Oh, cast iron,
yes.
and that's cast iron pipe now.
Yeah, but I think if it's 12-inch, they don't replace it. If it's only up to 8 or up to 6. So,
I mean, they just did the pipes in the other part of Brook Road when we finished that excavation. The only other question I have is, why couldn't they just continue? Or they don't want to do it unless they have to. Is that-
Well, they have a budget.
I believe
involved, too, I
they
think.
budget, I think, plus they finished that up in December, if I'm not mistaken, and,
Wasn't the best time for doing
well, no,
this,
it's
right?
not, it's not real practical for them or
It
us.
should happen this year, really. I mean,
It could.
effectively, if the construction, well, probably not. If you finish in September, then if they need to do it, they should be able to come in, and again, it would be treated possibly as an emergency because,
I don't know if they have a timetable of when it has to be done, or,
Am I incorrect in assuming, I think I asked this question a while back and was told that we're now off the tree lawn in that end of this project. Is that true, or are we still?
We are off the
We're out
tree
onto
lawn.
the street
we're
now?
into the
and
street.
there are no trees being removed or anything like that.
Actually, today we had one of our own tree crews down lifting and trimming as to avoid
Okay.
possible damage by the excavator. It's something that we're trying to prevent, you know, seeing a guy up in a bucket with a chainsaw or a pipe saw cutting limbs off. That's pretty standard, but we're trying to avoid that.
Well, you know I always worry about reputation, and it just makes us look terrible. To do something once and then to do something again, digging. I mean, it just looks awful.
Mr. Flaherty from the neighborhood was in with a group of people last Wednesday, and the universal comment from the board after they left was actually how polite and reasonable, and perhaps to the extent, actually, we were kind of marveling at that, because they certainly have a right to be a lot more strident and a lot more nasty about this than they came in and presented themselves, and I think that we were very grateful for their restraint. You know, that this is a neighborhood that has faced a long timeline here, sewer surcharging from the MWRA main going back some 4 years into some of those houses, and then in some ways the cure being worse than the disease, where we started digging everything up, and then you know, they gently pointed out that the town incurred some significant expense to the tune of $7,000 to have that hydroseeding done last year, and then we saw some before and after pictures, and as Jim comments, you know, it just doesn't look good.
That was although the other delays, the gas company excavation, all of that, none of that is costing the town money. It's
No,
costing
we understand that.
everyone who lives there terrible aggravation because of the way the place looks. My question is, every time you have a step like this, let's say, when you reach that point where, I remember the gas company issue, I remember it came to the board, we said, well, if it's not an emergency, we don't want it done, we don't want it dug up. The answer came back from the gas company, it is an emergency, it has to be done. Did you communicate with the residents at that time? Did you give them a flyer or a letter? Because I don't think anybody knows what the reasons are for the different excavations. And I know it's a pain and it takes a lot of extra time, but part of the problem is people don't know what's being done. And we still don't like it, we didn't like it, but once I had that answer back, I didn't think there was really a lot that I could say. I couldn't say, no, don't do it. It's not an emergency, I'm not the gas company, I don't have that authority. So in the future, I think, you know, you've got to keep people informed, and it might not solve their dissatisfaction, but at least they would understand what was happening and know that it wasn't a case of it was the gas company basically that had the problem.
But you don't have to be in a butter to drive by and wonder what these people did against the world, that this would go on for 2 years, and over 2 holidays, over 2 Christmas, Thanksgiving holidays. You wonder what went on there, and that's what I used to wonder when I'd go by.
And it's been a huge project. I mean, those are really big pipes.
There was an awful lot of complications. This is just my billing with the MWRA. I mean, we started with one contractor, he never even got off the ground, he pulled out. We advertised, we got another contractor in, and he went belly up. So it took 3 or 4 months between town council and our consultants and myself dealing with the bonding company to get another contractor in.
And we are under 30B required to take the low bid on these projects,
That's right.
once they're bid.
And I think I've billed MWRA over $1.3 million, which we have received, and also about another $160,000 to AmWest, the bonding company, which is back in. I have to get another bill in next week. Our funds are going to be cut short with the MWRA. They want this project off the books. And I think we have the tree situation down there that we have to have a bill for, and also a couple of reducing the retainage and the consultant's bill.
Can we talk a little bit about the trees and grass? You know, certainly you've heard from us over the course of the week. We took a vote last week, that Mr. Mullen pointed out at the beginning of this meeting, to assure the residents down there that we wanted to act immediately to get this rectified. Can you give us a report on that?
Yes.
As a result of the meeting last week, and we have been working, trying to get this resolved prior to that, we were not able to get a contractor to install the trees that were promised to us in their bid. So we sought out an alternative supplier, and one of the local people was able to get us 9 of the 22 trees, and he viewed the trees. They're not local, but he was able to get 9 of them, the trees that the neighbors wanted, and he feels he could get those planted within the next couple of weeks. As a result, I sent out a survey to the neighbors, asking them if they would like to get alternate trees, which I would be able to get from various other sources, or would they like to stick with the trees that they chose originally. I received 2 of the surveys back, and I met with Mr. Flaherty and 2 of the other neighbors this evening prior to this meeting, and the general consensus seems to be that the people would like to get the trees that they had asked for originally, and what they really would like is they will give us an early fall planting, and what they really want is to see some closure to this whole job. We talked about the grass situation on the tree lawn, and I told them that recently, within the last 2 days, I've got a commitment from Boston Gas Company to rectify what they did out there and to do some additional hydro seeding to get those areas put away. So the general consensus seems to be that the neighbors would like to notify me to notify them next week about the fact that we would finish the work in the early fall. They're willing to wait for the hydro seeding. They feel that maybe this is even getting a little too late, and we should do all this as a wrap-up in the fall. The other thing that the issue that they raised, which seemed to be as important, if not more important, than the trees and the tree lawn, was the fact that their own properties have been damaged as a result of the sewer work.
That was a comment that was made last Wednesday as well.
Well, that seemed to me almost a major focus among the neighbors, that someone has to get back to us and walk our properties and make sure that our properties are restored, because they drew out for me, there are these large sinkholes, 9, 10, 12, the size of this table and larger, in front of each and every one of their properties, and on their properties. And also, their comment was that the gas company damaged the sidewalk severely and was somewhat sloppy in their finish work, because there are trenches now entering onto their lawns with bituminous concrete in the trenches. I said to them, I said, you sure that's not the water? And they said, no, it was the gas company. They said that they watched all of these particular activities. So, we talked about the trees, we talked about the tree lawn. They seem to be less focused on that particular stuff, as long as I would provide them assurance that we would finish the work in September and get them the trees that they wanted. The major focus was that we haven't tuned in on their property concerns. So that's...
If I could, one observation though, Mr. Flaherty, again, he was a gentleman about it, and he said it actually somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but I, for one, did not mistake his seriousness when he said that, at this point, the last thing I think that we want to see is the hydro seeding done, and then trees planted, which once again destroys, an area of growth. So the sequence really ought to be trees first and then hydro seeding second. Is that what your plan is?
And that was what his feeling is, to get the 9 trees in now, get the additional 13 in September and finished off the lawns at the same time.
Are you optimistic about the availability of those other species?
Yes, I mean, they're popular trees, they're maple, they're predominantly maple trees. They're sugar maples and they're red sunset red maples. They're desirable trees. They're some of the nicer trees in those particular cultivars. They are fall dig trees, the red sunsets. I didn't anticipate, however, that we would have this difficulty early, but I've talked to our arborists on staff, and in discussion with them, we've concluded that we would like to do our whole tree program earlier. We had traditionally gone into it in the fall, and by the time we're gotten done, we've been into late November and October. They suggested that we start doing our pricing in August and start tagging the materials in the growers in July and August. So I will do it early in hopes that we won't have problems. The local bidder assured me that he would have no problem getting the trees in the fall, for the fall.
The local bidder is proposing to provide trees that are of a smaller diameter than what was specified.
No, not really.
That's what you told me earlier.
I thought earlier that they were, but I amended that remark in that I had requested 3.5s, 4s, and 5s, and the trees that they had quoted were 3.5s.
You would sort of range, a bid or range.
In order to give them some flexibility to be able to get the trees.
These 4s and 5s are really good size
That's a very large tree.
trees for,
The person that...
how many bids did you send out?
I think it was 22. I think it was 22.
Large number of bids.
Yeah.
To big companies as well as the local companies?
Yeah, the local companies and big companies. It was a big company that bid and assured me that, oh yeah, he was ready to start. And I called his supplier and the supplier said no. So, I went back and forth with him for like 2 weeks. And I said, well, gee, I'm not gonna give you a contract if you can't supply the trees. And the guy said, look, we're one of the biggest landscape people around, planters around, and he says, I've talked to 20 growers and I can't get the trees.
And he was using, though, a nursery company to provide him with the trees,
It
right?
started with Bigelow Nursery, one nursery company, and then he assured me that he had surveyed all of his resources,
And couldn't find the trees.
and he couldn't get the trees.
Well, we almost have to go back and work on it now to be able to have the trees for August or September planting.
That's why I asked if...
I have to do this early so that they can notify the growers that they have a commitment so that they can pull those trees out of their nursery and ball and burlap them so that they're ready to go.
I suggest we ask Arnold Arboretum for their suggestions of where we might find these large trees.
Is it that they're not available, which is a real hard thing for me to believe, or they're not available for the price that they bid?
No, they're not available. The price that the only bidder bid was very high.
He could name his price.
$1,000 a tree. It was high.
I can't believe it. But of course, I never bought a tree other than a Christmas tree.
Well, I think tonight we're gonna ask a vote to purchase these 9 trees, and the order will be put in the morning, so it'll be delivered next week, and they'll plant the following Saturday.
Well, you got that vote last week, as far as we're concerned. I think.
Okay, yeah,
You
okay.
got that last Wednesday.
I just want to make sure that if the $600 a tree times 9 or 10 is $5,000 we're talking.
No, we don't want to throw money around, but on the other hand, this has been a long-standing problem. We want to get it solved.
Lawn and Branch will call them and tell them to bring them up here.
Okay, these trees, you say 2 weeks, now that's practically the 4th of July, so you're gonna take extra precautions to keep them watered and,
Yeah, we have to start watering now. It's, you know, we're getting this, since the heavy rain a couple of Saturdays ago, it's starting to dry out again because we've got, you know, on the good side in the tree business, we put out with the Foundation for Education, we put out 25 Liberty Elms with the blessing of the Board of Selectmen. And in addition, thanks to Kathy O'Neill and the folks in that group, they gave us 15 additional. So we've done some planting at the, a couple of the spots that were on my list is not being aesthetically pleasing that we contributed to, namely the Kidder Library and the Council on Aging across the way and a section of Reedsdale Road. So we were able to, for the assistance we gave them, they gave us a little bonus. So that was nice on that tree. So we're gonna have to get out and water.
Well, when you plant a tree like that, you have to water it regularly the season you plant it. And how long, the year after too, or then can you?
Yeah, no, the rule of thumb generally is the first year you should be giving a tree an inch of water a week. And these ones down on Brook Road will require a lot more than that because they're bigger trees. It's a lot easier to grow a small tree than it is to, you know, your success rate is much better with a small tree, provided it doesn't get vandalized and salted, but, you know.
Just one line here that really confuses me in this memo about status of trees. I received assurance, this is your memo, Mr. Lane, I received assurance from the only tree bidder, MON Landscaping, that they could start the work immediately, and that I, meaning yourself, should call their tree supplier just to verify the availability. Is that the way we usually would do something after we award a contract? Do we then, instead of saying, do the work, we follow up on their supplier? Or, to me, it's like hiring a guy to put on the porch and call down and find out if he's gonna get the lumber.
Well, what happened was the person who submitted the bid went on vacation, was going on vacation, which I didn't know at the time. And it didn't bother me to call the supplier. I just wanted to, you know, he told me he could start the work. And he said, yeah, just verify with my supplier. And I said, that's fine, I'll do that. It was probably slightly unusual. I didn't, you know, it wasn't troublesome to me or anything like that. Before I gave him a contract, because he wanted a contract, and I said, I'm not going to give you a contract until you can prove to me you can supply the trees. I said, I'm going to be married to you, and you're going to be stringing me along for weeks with a contract. I said, no. I said, you tell me you can supply the trees, you show me you can supply the trees, and I'll get the contract right out to you.
So we never did have a contract.
No.
Okay, so as a plan going forward, we're looking at doing the 9 trees immediately. We're looking at doing the balance of the trees by September of '01. And then we are going to hydroseed to try to restore those tree lawns to the condition in which we found them. But on top of that, what I also heard that is a little bit of a caution is that we need to follow up with the gas company to talk about these
Yeah,
sinkholes.
no,
and-
there's problems with our sewer trench, which they feel is the major destruction of their the residents' property.
Yeah?
Yeah, the sewer trench, the sewer work, and to follow up on what was the disruption that the gas company caused. Frankly, I was unaware of either of these until I met with these folks an hour ago.
Okay, because time is become a sensitive issue, what kind of time frame are we looking at to attempt to address those 2 additional
Well,
issues?
I told them that I would bring that issue up with Marty because I don't know exactly what we're withholding, what our bond status is with the sewer company. So we have to talk about that, and we haven't had an opportunity to.
Okay.
Now. We have to talk about that, and I told the people that I would respond to them by next week, and someone will be talking to them about their individual problems.
Okay.
What has to be done to the trench? It has to be filled in better, or does it have to be dug up?
Why don't I walk it in the morning and determine who's at fault here, gas company, water contractor, or sewer contractor. And whatever it is, it'll be taken care of on the property. I did, when I walked the water job yesterday morning, noticed that there was one or two lawns that were weedy. I didn't see any large depressions. I wouldn't call them sinkholes, because if they were sinkholes, they'd get immediate attention. We had to go down and fill it with the DPW people. But Paul and I walked out in the morning, and the responsible party will be notified, and those lines. I don't think they should wait until, if it was my front yard, I wouldn't wait until September. I'd want it fixed immediately, and I'd water it myself. So
Loam
that we would
and
know.
seeded,
Right.
Yeah.
and again, you're talking about the 4th of July, it's not exactly the optimum time to grow.
No, but
grass.
I agree, these people put up with a lot. The benefit is worn off as far as their cellars filling up. I mean, that's gone by. Now it's time for us to act.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, by the way, I just should interject, I didn't mean to imply that the property part was linked to the tree line.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
I understand.
That should be taken
I understand
care
that.
If I lived there, I'd want it.
Right.
I don't know about the,
Yeah.
And there'd be more, and people water their own
Use
lawns.
a tree lawn too. Are we gonna hydro seed the tree lawn before the last tree is planted?
I don't know. I think that's a judgment for the department, and I would like that to be a discussion between the department and in communication with the homeowners.
But yeah, I would hope that we would be doing the trees in early September, and immediately thereafter doing the finish work.
Through the prime grass growing
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
That's the essence, though. I'd like to, before we get off this topic, just reiterate something that a point that Marion made earlier, and I think that is very true. As difficult as it is to keep up regular communication with a large group of people, and these are the residents on the even side of Brook Road, I think it's nevertheless very important that we keep them appraised of our progress with the trees, with the lawn, with the gas company, with the sewer pipe, sinkhole trench.
That was a major issue with them.
Okay. And it's been a major issue with us as well, so if we can work on that, that would be great.
I just have one quick question on Paul Cantor's report. Is there a preliminary master traffic plan that you can look at, or not? He said he reviewed a preliminary, it
I
says
think- I
preliminary
haven't
plan.
seen
I
it.
don't, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, and if there is one, it'll be brought over to town administrator tomorrow. I'll talk to him.
Can you look into that for us?
Yes, sir.
I was wondering who else, if anyone else is reviewing it for
Well, I
different.
think the traffic commission has the chief.
Yeah.
There's a East Milton traffic light different transfer item that's later in the packet. Again, it's supposedly coming from the master plan that we haven't seen.
Okay, item 2.3 is the approval, requested approval of the final aspect of the contract on the Pine Tree Brook cutting. We have an invoice from A&D Landscaping. And the recommendation of the town engineer is that the board sign off on that project. Any comments or fair to say?
The only comment I can make is that we have to get the payment into the Division of Waterways, so we get reimbursed, so that
Okay.
it has to be done very soon, so that before the July 1st, they close it.
They've submitted their prevailing wage documentation as well, which is always good to see. So, any discussion of that?
No, I
Okay, can we,
we should pay it so we can get reimbursed.
okay, can we make that a motion?
So moved. Yeah. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor of paying A&D Landscaping the amount of $69,000 even, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Okay. Item 2.5 is a report of the Milton Conservation Commission, action taken as sanctions, fines specifically for the Quarry Hills activity at the landfill. And specifically, without reading all the details, the summary here, I guess the bullet points, is that the Conservation Commission, after a site inspection of the landfill, found four specific complaints. Unauthorized discharge of untreated stormwater and sediment into wetlands, and I think that was the largest complaint. The commission also observed inadequate maintenance of erosion and sedimentation control structures. That would be any type of barrier, cloth barriers, plastic barriers, hay bale barriers. Also that the applicant, which is Quarry Hills, failed to stabilize unvegetated slopes in accordance with condition number 58 of the Order of Conditions, which basically stated that they needed to maintain all of the side slopes on the property in a condition that would prevent erosion. And that the commission observed breaches in the erosion control structures that were not identified by the applicant pursuant to the inspection program plan required by condition number 49. And so basically where this stands, as I understand it, is that Quarry Hills has been notified that the Milton Conservation Commission intends to level fines in the amount of $300 per day on each of those four specifications, which is a total of $1,200 a day, until such time that they are remediated. We have received a preliminary response from Quarry Hills to the members of the Milton Conservation Commission, so that presumably the Board of Selectmen would allow this to play out between our Conservation Commission and Quarry Hills going forward to see what the action is going to be. There was some, obviously Quarry Hills took some exception to some of the findings and asked for further information on some of the specifications, so that's the status of it now.
They were doing great guns. We had our walkthrough this morning. They were addressing the hay bales, the washouts, and it actually was greening up on the east side.
Yes.
West side, the Route 28 side. And they're well aware of what they have to do, and they're going to go after it. I think Dave Murphy of the DEP said that it could be a double whammy if they don't do it, so
Okay.
they're going right after it.
The Golf Course Advisory Committee also had a walkthrough last Tuesday evening, and actually Mr. Mullen was able to attend as well, and I walked with them. We basically looked at probably a good 75%, 80% of the entire Milton site. I think that the comments that I heard from the Golf Course Advisory Committee, which, as you know, is largely made up of abutters to the landfill site, is that the construction progress has been tremendous, and people are now starting to get a little more heartened by what they see in terms of final grades being achieved, the greens are being put in, the vegetation is starting to grow in, the watering is taking place. That's not to say that there weren't some complaints. There were a couple of incidents last week, Thursday and Friday night, with odor from SPF. It didn't linger long. Depending on which way the wind's blowing, they're either getting it on Lyman Road, or if it's blowing back the other way, Bill Clark reported that they were getting it on Ridgewood Road to an extent as well. But it's not of the nature that we saw the last time around, where it lingered for a week, well over a week actually, and persisted in a really heavy fashion. This is, back and forth. One of there were some issues that I got as questions for follow-up that I'll put in the form of a memo. There's going to be supposedly some restrooms that are being put in up along the Fourth Fairway. We're interested in understanding whether they're going to use septic system or try to connect to the sewer going down Quarry Lane. What the height of the buildings, what the nature of the buildings looks like. There's also going to be a pump house on one of the irrigation ponds, and we're interested in understanding what that looks like. One of the issues that I think I'd like to recommend that Camp Dresser McGee look into is that along holes 5 and 6, along the Lyman Road side of the golf course, they've created slopes which basically attempt to contain any drainage down toward the center of the fairway. But on either side of the fairway, there are grades which on the landfill side drain into designed ponds. There's a drainage system that is linked, that takes it all the way off the property. But on the Lyman Road side, there are side slopes there that it's not really clear in a heavy rainfall situation what the performance characteristics of the drainage would be. So I'd like maybe to look
There
into
was,
that at some point.
right there, I think it's hole 5.
You saw all that along that side of,
There
that
there was
backside.
one area that wasn't addressed as far as wetlands. It was a
Yes.
small area.
Yes,
They have now piped that to across the what's going to be the new fairway into the pond there. And that's supposed to, once it gets to a certain level, will flow away from there.
that's really the essence of the discussion, though, Marty, is that, you know, what's the hydrological performance there? Standing water is a concern. That's people's backyards right there. And if you've got, you know, moderate rainfall or light rainfall, and you're creating, you know, a situation where you might not get flow, active running flow out of those wetlands, you've got a breeding ground for mosquitoes, and you've got all kinds of potential problems.
I'll address that with Bruce Haskell, but also remember that they can't drain
Yes, I understand.
all to a wetland.
Right, right.
So that they, you know, they have some restrictions there.
But I guess what we want to look at, and Susan Higgins had made this comment to me, and I think it's a reasonable request, is to look at the water table, whether they change the water table in those two specific areas. Corey Hill's representation was that they would not and did not change the water table there. I'd like to assure ourselves that in fact is the case.
Before we get the heavy rain.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the pump house and well up at the pond. They were excavating for the foundation today. Hopefully it'll be poured tomorrow. Gary told me the building's coming in 3 sections. It's a prefab building,
One story, one level?
one story, yes.
Okay.
And
Colonial architecture, clapper?
Probably stone of some sort, or masonry. And it's very imperative that they get this done because they want to get the holes 5 and 6 completed, and this will be the water. They'll have that in operation as they get the water up there. I did meet with them probably 6 months ago on Quarry Lane. They did get the information on our sewer and water out there, and I don't think it was cost effective to go that route with the thing, and I don't think they've decided if they're going to put.
The problem, it seems to me, it just occurred to me as we were walking with septage on that particular site, is that you're on the cap. So you got 18 inches of clay. Now, do you leach below the cap? Do you leach
think
above the
that would
cap?
be-
Do you drain down to where you
It
can
would be
achieve a
some kind of
leaching field? Or
holding tank that would
Okay.
have
A
to be-
cistern?
Yeah, that would have to be pumped out
Okay,
on a regular basis.
Okay.
But I don't think there's any definitive plans on that yet.
okay. Will you keep an eye on that for us so that we, okay.
Thursdays is a landfill day. I mean, after the 2.5, 3 hour walk, then we have another meeting in Quincy
Okay.
in the afternoon.
Okay, just so you're aware that those are outstanding issues.
And Richie McCourt, I guess they got another order of condition from DEP, and he will meet what he's supposed to do and with the Milton site as far as getting the clay covering right up to the sand. Once it gets to the sand, we're dealing with another contractor, the golf course
landscape.
contractor. He'll be putting the sand down. The clay is supposed to be on by July 15th, and the sand is supposed to be down by August 1st. So I hope they can coordinate this and make sure that they meet those requirements.
Well, that's where we are with the ACO. We got the revised, in our packet this evening, we got the revised ACO from the DEP, which
Yes.
calls for exactly those dates. Substantial completion by August 1st, total completion by August 31st, under the threat of penalty,
I
financial
also
penalty.
questioned the Phase 2 and Phase 3, any slopes that went 4 to 1 requires fabric. And I'm going out there and measure a few of those slopes. I think they're 1 to 1, not 4 to 1.
Wow.
So we'll find out where we are in that.
Okay.
And I also requested to have our old landfill road cleaned up. It's dusty. We had requested that it was done last month, and they cleaned the section from Route 28 up to the gas company road. It's from there in, it's got about...
Along the old Ash Street playground and that, yes, yes.
And he says he'll try to get that tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comment on the landfill? Okay, item 2.6 is a memo from the town administrator regarding Public Works seasonal employment. Do you want to, it's actually fairly self-explanatory here, John.
So moved. I'll shock you.
Well, it must be fairly self-explanatory then. Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the employment of the two individuals named?
Aye.
Aye? Okay, unanimous. Item 2.9 is the, sort of a similar issue with roadside mowing. And you touched on this earlier in the discussion this evening, John. We're trying,
I touched on it. It was Tuesday, it was agreed that the two people would be there on Wednesday.
yeah,
And they didn't quite make it there for one reason or another. But the effort was made to go get them
Okay.
there. And a mower,
We had one start today.
and another mower was put into service by Superintendent McDermott. So you have enough equipment.
we have the equipment, that was a key. Okay, okay. And these are mulching mowers, is that correct? We're just dropping the
Oh, you bet they are.
okay, all right, good. I figured with Branch around there,
We use whatever runs.
Branch usually takes every opportunity he can when he gets on TV to talk about the need to start switching over to those.
Some of our hand mowers are probably 10 to 15 years old with welded decks and new engines and,
Awesome. So they were on the Milton program, too?
some of them were, and some of them are in for replacement this year,
Okay.
so.
At one point, I understood we had more motors than we had lawnmowers.
You could say that.
Okay, so you put out an APB for the... I
They
know that-
take an awful beating, you know, the roadsides aren't
Well, that's good.
aren't front lawns, and they're not the well manicured, and there's the occasional bottle and rock and piece of metal and small
I don't
trees.
see, yeah,
They're
okay.
put to good use.
All right. Item 210 is an additional item, and this is a fairly complex discussion, and we are late in the evening, but I just wanted to ask Marty if he'd take us through the high spots here. This is regarding the Reedsdale Road sewer project. I had actually scheduled a meeting with you and Paul Cantor last Friday, which I blew on you, Marty, and I called to apologize on that. I wish I had been able to.
I think we still want to sit down with you
Okay.
and go over it.
Okay.
There's still a little bit up in the air here. We got, we're very close.
Okay.
It's just how we want to proceed.
So it's how we want to structure this.
This is true.
There are some interrelated activities going on here. We have the pumping stations on one hand, we have the Reedsdale Road sewer project. While we're on the Reedsdale Road thing, though, Bill Fitzgerald, who's a town meeting member from Precinct 9, who lives up on Reedsdale Road in the Buckingham Road area on the St. E's side of the road, had come in a couple of weeks ago to ask the board for some relief on the pavement up there. You know, it's a, Reedsdale Road, Route 28 is a very highly traveled roadway to start with, but then apparently, all night long, you've got people using that as a truck route into the city to hit certain parts of the city off, instead of using the highways.
Settled trenches.
A lot,
Yeah,
lot of rumbling, a lot of noise, a lot of,
Out, and I showed them Reed Steel Road, and to my eye-opening, most of the problems are with the gas trench again.
Okay.
The gas trench has their laterals crossing. We have one manhole that I want Paul to, it's an old drain manhole that we could patch around and help on that particular area. But the, outside of the sewer trench being a little bit wavy, you could probably get a little seasick driving down there. It's not, the hammering is coming from the cross trenches from the gas company and the gas company trench. And also, excuse me, Buckingham Road, that hasn't been
Where it
completed
turns
yet.
90 degrees,
Yeah, they ran up Buckingham Road, but they haven't permanently patched that one.
okay.
So that cross trench is noisy on the sewer.
Okay, so that's the explanation. What's the plan?
I don't know, I hear both things. We're holding $30,000 or so, and if he wants his money. Otherwise, we'll take what's in there and complete. I've heard rumors that he's almost finished there. Is that right?
Well, then again, and again, we hate to harp on this, but it's a fact. You have people who have suffered for a while, again, have been real ladies and gentlemen about it. Again, I don't know that I'd exhibit, frankly, the patience and the class that some of these people have shown in addressing these problems. I think they've been more than reasonable. But again, we have a commitment to them to get it addressed, and I just want to do it in as timely a way as we can.
And not to belay it, but I think if we can get the gas trench straightened away,
Okay.
that'll ease the pain on what we have to do there in the sewer trench.
Who will make the arrangements for that?
James Green is the assistant town engineer, and he issues the permits, and I've spoken to him after my inspection that the gas company has to come out here and take care of that patch properly.
Because again, with each passing night, you lose sleep on these things.
It's gone.
Okay, that's good. Why don't I give you a call in the morning and see if I can try to sit down with you tomorrow afternoon and talk about the outcome of that.
That would
See
be
if there's
good.
an issue. Okay, I'll do what I can about that. Okay, 10, 12
Can I
items.
just ask,
Yep.
back to 2, have we been able to set up a meeting with MWRA, or we're still waiting to hear on that?
We have the request into Michelle,
Okay.
and we're waiting. She's contacting her people to see what dates would be convenient.
And that's the Milton Street issue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
I have two little items, just little reminders for people.
Yep.
Kathy wanted me to make sure that people are aware that next week is going to be the last week for weekly yard waste collection, and we'll be going on an alternate week schedule, so that the week after next, ending on the 15th, be every other week. So the next week of collection will be the week of the 25th after that. So it'll be every other week. And last but not least, I brought some aids with me. The school people always have
Props.
aids. That's right. You know what this is, Marion?
Those look like empty cans.
No, this is my lunch.
Oh.
This one, you're right, this one is empty. We're going to be announcing in our latest flyer for July 1st.
So Mark, get that on TV?
Where are you, Mark? We need you the most. We're going to be announcing on July 1st a major improvement for residents in our recycling program, because formerly you had to wash and remove labels on these. Are they there?
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Formerly you had to wash and remove the labels on these cans. Well, you no longer, as of July 1st, will have to remove the labels, which is a major hassle, because washing them and getting labels off is a nuisance. So that's going to be a real nice thing. The only problem is, on cans like this, there's a lot of glop at the end when you finish it, And if you don't clean that glop out of the
Inside or
can, inside, if you don't clean the glop out of the can, we're not gonna pick it up.
Okay.
It's gotta be, you gotta be clean
Just wanna
on the
rinse them.
clean and rinsed on the inside, and and the label can remain on the outside.
Terrific.
Got that, Jim?
I got it. I'm just looking for some trees on Brook Road.
You get those too, I
Leave the
promise.
minutes wrong.
I promise. And that's my announcement.
Gentlemen, thank you all. We covered a lot of ground. I really appreciate it.
Good night, thank you.
Good night, and thank you again.
So you got the word out there
Yay.
on recycling, Reverend Lane.
That Mark is terrific, I love that guy.
Terrific, so we can move on. Item 3, another bit of business here. Does the board wish to authorize the chairman to sign the dog warrant to the dog officer?
So moved.
So, second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. I'll sign that. Item 3.1, does the board wish to approve the agreement between the town and Deputy Police Chief Richard G. Wells, Jr.? John, do you want to explain this briefly?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Put it on the agenda, we're going to street tonight.
Oh,
Why don't you hold it off another week?
all right.
That'd
So
be
we can
fine,
go
and
to
actually,
next-
because I had a lot of questions, and that'll give me a chance to ask them during the course of the week, so
Okay.
that's fine. We'll skip to item 4. Does the board wish to approve the following summer schedule? And it's set forth there, basically every other week during the months of June, July, August, and leading up to back to school. And then return to weekly meetings.
I just thought that we should be meeting the week between the 14th and the 28th of June,
Okay.
because usually there's a lot of things happening leading up to the last week in June, and plus we have an election on
We
June
have
26th.
the election on June 26th.
So I really don't think we should skip that week.
Okay, I added that you should meet the 28th because you want to talk about the results of the election.
Right, but I mean, shouldn't we meet, oh, wait a minute, am I confused here? Let's see.
No, it's the
No, the
26th.
21st.
The 26th is the,
Right, but the
So-
21st,
Right.
you skipped a week purposefully here, but I think we should meet June 21st. Is it June 21st, is that right?
Yep,
maybe you want
that's
to,
correct.
maybe you'd want to
Yes.
skip the 14th, which is the week that I'm going to be away. So,
Okay, so we'd be skipping next Thursday,
right,
and then sliding it to the 21st, and then meeting again on the 28th, which brackets the election on either side of...
suggestion of the staff.
Well, I know this is the tradition. I just don't want to create a situation here where we are constrained. Believe me, I'm not looking for the work. I'd like to enjoy as much of the summer as everybody else, but we have had some very active agendas in recent weeks.
I don't mind the every other week
Yeah.
trying to do it. but
Trying
what-
to do it, right,
What does
exactly.
happen is that we sometimes do end up meeting.
Certainly happened last year.
It's hard to schedule a vacation if you don't have some intervals that are more than a week.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not objecting to that, I'm just saying before the end of June. And are you going to be away that whole week? Is that the problem? Or, I mean, so we can't meet a different night or anything if we wanted to do that?
Well,
14th?
I was planning on taking the whole week, but I'll be around.
Okay.
You know, give you my phone number.
You're one of those avid gardeners we were talking about earlier, huh?
You should see how much stuff I have to plan.
Okay,
Well,
fair enough.
we can do that then.
All right, let's,
So we'll leave it, we're going to, at this point at least, omit the 14th. But if it turns out there's a problem, I mean, we're going to be around, it's just that we wouldn't be able to set up the meeting very well.
so is it fair to say that the motion would be to approve the summer schedule as, in principle, as set forth, with the exception of substituting June 21st for the June 14th date stated there?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Now, there's a second question, and that is, does the board want to meet at 5? We had done that for years, and then Rick found it difficult to get out of the city, so he would, the board went back to the 7:30. I mentioned that it winds up being a 5 to 9 type of
Right.
meeting, so it's not
Are they catered, those meetings? Dinner? No?
But I just offer that as a.
I'm flexible. Speaking personally, it doesn't matter one way or the other to me.
I
Five
like
makes
trying
sense,
to do it
actually.
at 5.
Yeah.
Right now, it's all right.
It's less stress on the staff. We just keep going and, okay, that's
So
good.
those will all
All
become
right, so why don't we
5s.
change those 7:30s to 5 PMs? Good deal. Okay, item 5 is, does the board wish to discuss extending the agreement for the network administrator position, which expires on June 30th, 2001? And this is basically the result of a question as a result of a memo to John Cronin from Phil Murphy, the assistant superintendent.
And the warrant
Are you
committee has
satisfied with
approved
it?
that transfer that we requested to make it conform to the way it's being budgeted this year. Yes, I think we are satisfied. Robert Patterson is a very talented, knowledgeable data processing person, and he has hooked us up with the internet using the schools.
That would actually make him not a data processing person, but an information technology person.
Yes, I think he is.
We seem to be getting to that.
I think he is, and I think we're going to hear more from him.
Good. Okay. So the motion
So
is
moved.
to extend the agreement. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, as set forth in the agreement. Okay, item 6, we have some additional appointments. We made some last Wednesday. Does the board wish to appoint or reappoint the following committee members? And again, we'll just do names. The Celebration of Holidays Committee, Mary Mullen Burke, Stanley Karp, J. Alexander Hart, and Richard Walsh. The Fair Housing Committee, John Cronin, Thomas Callahan, Reverend George Wells Jr., Barbara Nickerson, and Joseph Duffy. The Tax Exempt Steering Committee, Marion McKettrick, Kevin Sorgi, Stephen Crawford, Roxanne Musto, Mary Gormley, and Craig McNaught.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of making those appointments?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay. Does the board wish to approve forwarding to the warrant committee the following reserve fund transfers? And there are 5, and if, John, you could touch on each of these as we...
I have to say that these have proceeded in parallel to the warrant committee and the Board of Selectmen at the same time, and I
Okay.
apologize for the fact that the warrant committee met before you did.
Okay, that's okay.
They have taken care of them. The Labor Council was taken care of, the Town Council was taken care of.
That's the first two, the Selectmen's Professional Services and the Law Special Services, to rephrase them?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And I might say that both of those offices have been notified that bills received after June 1, 2001 will be paid in fiscal year 2002. Some of them have difficulty submitting invoices in a timely fashion. But,
Okay.
these are the latest we could get.
And then the remaining 3 are the Wire Department, Streetlights, and the Public Works General, which we mentioned earlier.
The wire department is at a request, a proposal of the police chief, and it is to assist with a dangerous, correcting a dangerous traffic signal pattern problem in East Milton Square. And the timing of it was that the chief had arranged for the necessary companies to come together on June 14th and 15th to do the work. The warrant committee, understanding that this was a desirable thing and the timing was opportune, it was not an absolute must to have happened in this fiscal year. It could happen 16 days later in July, so they did not approve it.
Okay.
Why doesn't that sound good? I don't... I'm concerned about pedestrian
Probably is.
Well, I mean, they're just saying that, you know, it's not an emergency anymore. I know people want the adjustment made. A lot of
Yes.
people have asked us about this. I think what we're saying is we're postponing it until the beginning of the next fiscal year, because
I
it's not
understand that a
strictly...
reserve fund transfer will be necessary next year
Okay.
as well, because there is no funding for this in any budget.
And I suppose we could, I mean, I really think they're very tight in terms of
Oh,
having money
that I
available.
understand. Yep.
I mean, if there were money available, it would be too late then, because the opportunity is to do it in the middle of the month, and apparently they don't want to approve it now, so.
Okay, so can we get a motion on this to submit it after the beginning of the new fiscal year?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, Jane, to submit this at the end of the, beginning of the new fiscal year. Okay, then we have the,
This DPW, they approved 60,000? John?
Yes. They didn't approve the last 8,000 or so. It was requested because they wanted to hold back a little bit, just to be sure. Maybe it wouldn't be necessary.
okay, so this was approved for $60,000 by the warrant committee. So we don't need to take any action on that, since it would be procedural only. The streetlights,
They approved the request for the streetlights. They might say there was a credit that came in from Select Energy for the people who have electric accounts. And it varied, of course, by each department. And we haven't even been able to put it all together yet as to how much it was, but it will, for instance, enabled us to eliminate a $1,000 request for traffic light,
okay?
Edison charge, and it allows us to take, I think, $8,000 off of the streetlight charge. We'll be tallying that up and reporting it to you, but it was a lot of money.
Okay. And then we have the additional item for the data processing. And this is going to require is this going to require a reserve fund transfer? What's this?
Didn't we just vote? I thought we...
Well, we
already
voted to continue, okay, well,
That's what-
we didn't vote specifically the reserve fund transfer request.
This was to change
We already got it.
the reserve fund transfer of January from salary and wages to expenses.
Okay, fine,
And they did
They did.
vote that,
Okay.
okay.
consistent with the way they had approved the budget.
Okay, so that was also approved by the warrant committee.
Just to relieve the personnel related job descriptions and grievance procedures, stuff
Okay.
that would be in conflict with the school committees.
Okay. Item 8 is, does the board wish to discuss correspondence sent by the project coordinator of the Executive Office for Administration and Finance, which is the executive branch, the governor's branch, regarding the letter sent by the board requesting change in the school funding formula for the town? And this was correspondence that we received. I wasn't, I respect the governor's attempt to communicate with us, and Ms. Bonaventura's taking the time and trouble to write the letter. I'm not sure that this
We already
changes
reviewed the
our outcome.
governor's budget.
Exactly.
I mean,
That this changes our outcome in any
that
significant
was
way.
why we wrote the
but,
letter.
Exactly.
But anyway, she just basically, what she's doing here is referring Rick back to their budget document,
Right.
which we have reviewed.
Right.
And we were disappointed that they didn't include something that addressed some of the issues that we...
Well, I think the key word she picked out of our communication was enrollment growth, and while she attempts to address that, I think that our enrollment growth has been retrospective, not prospective. I think that the governor's budget deals adequately with high-growth communities going forward, but I'm not sure it takes care of communities like Milton, who have seen their bulge during the 7 years of the ed reform law, so...
So their solution that she's pointing us to wouldn't have helped us anyway,
No, that's right,
bottom line.
that's right.
But it was nice that she wrote that.
That's true, I agree.
So we'll write back to her again.
Item 9 is, does the board wish to approve the Network Plus annual road race being held Sunday, June 10th, to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Greater Boston, as recommended by the police chief?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. This is like the road race of the week now. There's one just about every week through Milton. Item 10 is, does the board wish to sign a proclamation for the Tucker School Principal Diane Goslin? And this is upon Ms. Goslin's announcement, as indicated last night at the school committee meeting by Superintendent Grosser O'Neill, that Diane Goslin, the Tucker School Principal, will be returning to teaching, which is her first love. And this is the Board of Selectmen urging the citizens of the town of Milton to join us in wishing her well in that endeavor and citing her accomplishments.
Second, is this already, this
No,
has a
we caught
typo
it.
in it?
We caught it.
Oh,
I called it in this afternoon.
that one?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
It was
Second.
Thank you both.
moved in second. We're scrupulous. All those in favor? Aye, unanimous. Item 11, does the board wish to discuss the opportunity for the building commissioner to be considered for appointment to the Building Official Certification Committee? And this is follow-up on an item that we had some questions on last Wednesday, a memo from Steve Crawford to John Cronin, basically telling us what the position would entail, and then a memo accompanying that to the board from the town administrator recommending the appointment. Be allowed to accept the appointment.
I move the approval.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, and we wish Mr. Crawford good luck, and I think it does have the potential to be a benefit for the town, so. Any other additional items? Any discussion or information sharing? You had the No Place for Hate.
Yes, we attended it actually was very nice opening.
Very well attended.
Event for the No Place for Hate initiative, and we were presented with our own proclamation to, in a frame, to hang up anywhere we want to, in the town hall, somewhere visible, so I brought that to the meeting tonight.
You have the frame copy, but I have the...
Yes. And it's right here. Find a good spot for that.
Okay.
And they have a lot of activities. Some of them are activities that we already have. I'm trying to think of them now. I can't think of any of them. The fair that's held in the fall, the Celebrate Milton
Celebrate Milton event.
which is going to be, this will be a keynote part of it this year, and that event will be held. And then they have a number of other initiatives that they're working on that are some of them are new. And, but I thought it was very good, and they highlighted a number of things that are already being done in Milton that correspond to what this campaign is all about. And we had some discussion. There were people there who asked questions. And, it was quite an enthusiastic group. I think it's going to work out well.
I agree. Great initiative. Anything else? Okay, we have, I'm sorry.
The only thing is, that I have is, I don't really have any complete information. I know the Senate budget is out, and I don't know that it doesn't have any huge windfalls in it as far as I can see.
It's about $40,000 difference. I think Milton goes from $240,000 to $280,000.
There is a small provision in another part that does attempt to provide for past enrollment growth funding. It doesn't have a lot of funding associated with it right now, but the provision is a very good one, and I'm sure it was worked on by Senator Joyce or someone from his staff, and probably someone from Ways and Means, that it attempts to provide some sort of addition to base aid for enrollment growth. Now, the actual provision and the amount of money involved would not be very large at this time, but there might be some opportunity for continuing to work with that provision in the conference committee. So I don't hold out high hopes, but on the other hand, it was nice to see that provision in the Senate budget, because I haven't seen anything like that come from anywhere else.
In fact, Milton, I think, was one of only 2 communities on the South Shore that would actually see a significant increase in the Senate budget as opposed to the House budget. So that was, hopefully that will prevail in conference. The only other item I had, and I know this was a memo from you, John, to the board regarding some committee vacancies and asking us if we had any recommendations, but I would like to publicize the fact that we do have a vacancy on our Commission on Disability, and one vacancy on the Telecommunication Design Review Committee, and both of those would be one-year appointments.
But it's not clear whether there's a vacancy on the Telecommunication Design Review Committee, right?
I think that's right.
We haven't yet talked to the citizen appointee.
Oh, I beg your pardon, then, in that
No,
instance.
it was a note that was, it's very lightly written in the.
Oh, I
couldn't
didn't,
really see
okay.
it.
I did not pick that up,
So,
that's why.
but we may have a vacancy, so if someone's interested, they certainly ought to let us know. We'd love to have them if they are.
Okay. And as always, we would like to hear from anybody who is interested in serving on any particular board or committee, and we do share that information with the town moderator, who has appointment over some of the boards and committees that we do not appoint. And if you are interested in giving public service to the town, we would be interested in getting your resume. Then I take a motion to adjourn for the purposes of going into executive session for 2 items of litigation and 1 item of land acquisition.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of going into executive session, Mr. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. McKettrick?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy, yes. We are adjourned.